We start with a Fox News alert. The United States and China have reached an agreement to slash tariffs on each other's goods, complete with a 90-day pause for future negotiations.
Lucas Tomlinson is live in Saudi Arabia ahead of President Trump's visit there with the details. Good morning, Lucas. What can you tell us?
Well, good afternoon from Riyadh, guys. Before President Trump arrives here in Saudi Arabia tomorrow morning, big news on the trade front. A trade deal has been announced with China, an agreement to slash tariffs. Here's President Trump's trade rep, Jamieson Greer, speaking in Geneva.
We come to agreement that our reciprocal tariff rate will go down to 10% on the United States side, so it goes down 115%. We enter into a 90-day pause period for negotiations, which both the Chinese and the United States are very committed to, and the Chinese on their side also go down 115% to 10%, and they remove the countermeasures that they have in place.
So tariffs are being slashed, and here's President Trump's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent speaking alongside Greer in Geneva.
Neither side wants a decoupling. And what had occurred with these very high tariffs, as Ambassador Greer said, was the equivalent of an embargo, and neither side wants that. We do want trade. We want more balanced trade. And I think that both sides are committed to achieving that.
Now, after European leaders traveled to Ukraine over the weekend to support a U.S.-led 30-day ceasefire effort to begin today, it was supposed to, Russian President Vladimir Putin appeared to stall, holding a hastily arranged press conference early Sunday morning, about 3 a.m. local in Moscow, to propose something different. A meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Istanbul, an offer President Trump says Zelensky should accept, posting, quote, President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday in Turkey to negotiate a possible end to this bloodbath. Ukraine should agree to this immediately. At least they will be able to determine whether or not a deal is possible, and if it is not, European leaders and the U.S. will know where everything stands and can proceed accordingly. I'm starting to doubt Ukraine will make a deal with Putin, who's too busy celebrating the victory of World War II, which could not have been won, not even close, without the United States of America. Have the meeting now. And Zelensky, responding to Putin's offer, said, quote, we await a full and lasting ceasefire starting from tomorrow, meaning today, Monday, to provide the necessary basis for diplomacy. There is no point in prolonging the killings, and I will be waiting for Putin in Turkey on Thursday. Personally, I hope that this time the Russians will not look for excuses. Now, here's President Trump on the India-Pakistan ceasefire mediated by the White House, led by Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The president posting, quote, while not even discussed, I'm going to increase trade substantially with both of these great nations. Additionally, I'll work with you both to see if, after a, quote, 1,000 years, a solution can be arrived at concerning Kashmir. God bless the leadership of India and Pakistan on a job well done. So President Trump will be arriving here in Saudi Arabia tomorrow to begin the signing of billions of dollars worth of deals. And before he leaves the White House this morning, guys, the president will be sitting down to sign an executive order to lower the cost of prescription drugs. Guys?
Well, Lucas, it's almost impossible to think that we're looking at 5 major stories at one time, right from the region the president's about to go to, right?
There's no question, Brian. Very busy day yesterday when these were all announced. And also something to look at on this trip is Syria. You know, the Trump administration wants to keep Iran out of Syria, doesn't want it to be a forward operating base like it was for 50 years under the Assad regime. That's one more thing. So maybe we're up to 6 now, Brian. But President Trump's going to arrive for tomorrow. They're expecting billions of dollars worth of deals to be announced, including artificial intelligence and, of course, arms sales as well.
Yeah, I'd rather not be a Russian hub either. That would certainly help. Appreciate it, Lucas.
It's incredible what President Trump has done over the weekend. He brokered that India-Pakistani ceasefire. He got Zelensky and Putin to go to the table. Putin said, I want to meet with you, Zelensky, on Thursday. And President Trump encouraged Zelensky to do that on Truth Social, and then they both agreed. And then also the U.S. and China trade deal. Lucas didn't mention that the 20% duties on Chinese imports relating to fentanyl will remain in place, meaning the total tariff on China stands at 30%.
And then, of course, you got the last living American hostage as well. That has finally been negotiated, that he's going to be released. So, I mean, he's firing on all cylinders. Maybe we finally get the markets are responding positively to this trade deal being done. It's a framework. There's still more negotiation to go, but it's a step in the right direction.
So, you know, a lot of times when they come out of meetings, they have different interpretations of the meetings. And I was just seeing, I listened to the presser live at 3 in the morning. And then it was hard hearing all the audio, so I was just jotting down hand notes. Mm-hmm. And then I'm listening to the Chinese delegation. They had one soundbite, and he sounded just as positive. You know what it shows? All the manufacturing, the trouble they have, making their payments, getting people unemployment. The fact is, a lot of these cargo ships are leaving with nothing on them because the U.S. is canceling their orders. They came to deal. And you know what I also like? Not like they caved first, they caved second. They said that it is just, hey, we're at 145, 125. Now we're at 30 and 10. And these are some of the details. And one of the things that Scott Bessent said in particular, China brought up to them, we have not had talks about trade in 4 years. The also thing that they brought up, too, is he says, you guys got to become a consumer nation. All you do is send stuff out.
Right.
Now we have $295 billion of trade imbalance. It's gone up 5% this year, 40% over the last 5 years. It is unsustainable. Of course we're in this spot right here, right now. The question is, why wasn't there more of an urgency before?
And then also the hostage to be released. It's Eden Alexander. We've talked to his family before on the show. He was held for 550 days. And this is thought to be a gesture because our president, is going to the Middle East for the week. And this was a gesture from Hamas to say, we're going to send home an American.
So you got the president firing on all cylinders with all these major international and domestic stories, but the Democrats are still in disarray.
Right. And by almost everything they said on the Sunday shows is null and void because everything's been moving forward. But what I thought was interesting is, as far as Netanyahu says, I didn't give up anything to get Alexander back. So Witkoff just arrived, I saw in the Jerusalem Post about an hour ago. Yeah. So what's he going to say? He's going to clue them in. Now, Israel and the U.S. are a little bit disjointed now because we cut a deal with the Houthis not to bomb us, but they continue to go after. Israel says, we wish we would have known about that ahead of time. This hostage thing, I'm not sure they were clued in this time, but they do plan on going in full bore into Gaza and holding land this time. But it would be good, I think, for the world community to get some aid in there. It would, at the very least, just get some humanitarian aid to the areas that we told the Palestinians to evacuate to.
There's Eden's picture. His mom found out on Mother's Day her son's coming home.
What a gift.
Right.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.